Lydia as mentioned his son. Sometime Olmafil freed Hercules and married him. Some sources mention a son born to them who is variously named. It was at the time that the Cercopes, mischievous wood spirits, stole Hercules' weapons. He punished them by trying them to stick with their faces pointing downward. While walking through the wilderness, Hercules was set upon by the dry Theodamas over one of the latter's bulls and made war upon the dry. Offered him Prince Hylas. He took the youth on as his weapons bearer. Years later, Hercules and Hylas joined the crew of the Argo. As Argonauts, they only participate in part of the journey. In Mysia, Hylas was kidnapped by the nymphs of a local spring. Hercules searched for a long time, but Hylas had fallen in love with the nymphs and never showed up again. In other versions, he simply drowned. Either way, the Argos set sail without them. Hyces Theogony and Asphysilas Prometheus Unbound both tell that Hercules shot and killed the eagle that tortured Prometheus. Punishment by Zeus for stealing fire from the gods and giving it to mortals. Hercules freed the Titan from his chains and his torments. Prometheus then made predictions regarding further deeds of Hercules. On his way back to Mycenae from Iberia, having obtained the cattle of Gurion as his 10th labor, Hercules came to Liguria in northwestern Italy, where he engaged his kneeling position of Hercules when he prayed to his father Zeus that gave the name Ingonatian, meeting on his knees, or the kneeler to the constellation known as Hercules constellation. The story, among others, was described by the Dionysius of Halicarnassus. Before Homer's Trojan War, Hercules had made an expedition to Troy and sacked it. Previously, Poseidon had sent to a sea monster to attack Troy. The story was related to several digressions in the Iliad and was found in Pseudo Apollodorus' Bibliothèque. This expedition became the theme of the eastern pediment of the Temple of Aphia. Laomedon planned on sacrificing his daughter Hesione to Poseidon in hope of appeasing him. Heracles happened to arrive and agreed to kill the monster of Elamodeon. It was Telamon and Oisicles agreed to kill the monster. Laomedon would give him the horses received from Zeus as followers attacked Troy and sacked it. Then they slew all Laomedon's sons' presents. Their saved Podacres, who was renamed Priam, who saved his own life by giving Heracles a golden veil Hesione had made. Telamon took Hesione as a war prize, and they had a son, Teucer. After Heracles had performed his labors, gods told him that before he passed into the company of the gods, he should create a colony at Sardinia and make his sons, whom he had with the daughters of the Thespius, the leaders of the settlement. When his sons became adults, he sent them together with Laus to the island. Heracles defeated the Babrices, ruled by King Mygdon, and gave their land to the prince Lycus of Mysia, son of Dascylus. he killed the robber Termurius. Hercules visited Evander with Anter, who then slayed in Italy. Hercules killed King Mentor of Ormenium for not allowing him to his kingdom. He also killed King Emathion of Arabia. Heracles killed the Egyptian king Berceres and his followers after they attempted to sacrifice him to the gods. Heracles killed Lirius after beating him a contest of harvesting. He also killed Periclymus, Minius at Plios, Silius for forcing strangers to hoe a vineyard. He arrived with Leprous and eventually killed him. Heracles founded the city at Tarentum. It was a Taranto in Italy. Heracles learned the music from Linus, but killed him after Linus corrected mistakes and canned him with nods. He learned how to wrestle from Autolycus. He killed the famous boxer Eryx of Sicily in a match. Emopolius, that was a learn from music from Linus and Eumopolis. He learned how to. Heracles was an Argonaut. He killed Alastor and his brothers. When Hippocoon overthrew his brother Tyndareus as king of Sparta, Heracles reinstated the rightful ruler and killed Hippocoon and his sons. The Lacedaemonians were the only Greeks who give Hera the title Goat Eater, and of her goats and sacrifice according to tradition, Heracles killed Cygnus, the son of Ars. The expedition against Cygnus, in which of Iolaus accompanied Heracles in the ostensible theme of short epic attributed to Hesiod, shield of Heracles. Heracles killed the giants Alconius and Porphyrion. Heracles killed Antinous, the giant who was immortal, while touching the earth by picking him up and holding him in the air while strangling him. Pygmies tried to kill Heracles because they were brothers of Antaeus and wanted to avenge Antaeus' death but failed. Heracles went to war with Augeas after he denied him a promised reward for clearing his stables. Augeas remained undefeated due to the skill of his two generals, the Molionides, and after Heracles fell ill, his army was badly beaten. Later, however, he was able to ambush and kill the Monolides, and thus marched into Elis, sacking and kill Augeas and his sons. Heracles visited the house of Admetus on the day Admetus' wife Alcestis had agreed to die in his place. Admetus was not wanting to turn Heracles away nor wanting to burden him with his sadness, welcomes him and instructs the servants not to inform Heracles of what has occurred. Heracles, thus unaware of Alcestis' fate, enjoys the hospitality of Admetus' house, drinking and reveling, which angers the servants who wish to mourn as is their right. One scolds the guests, and Heracles is ashamed of his actions. By hiding beside the grave of Alcestis, Heracles was able to surprise the death of to a drinking contest and loss, resulting in his joining the Theses for a period. Heracles, who also appears in Aristophanes' The Frogs, in which Dionysus seeks out the hero to find a way to the underworld. Hercules was greatly amused by Dionysus' appearance and jokingly offers several ways to commit suicide before finally offering his knowledge of how to get to there. Hercules appears as the ancestral hero of Scythia in Herodotus' text. While Hercules was sleeping out in the wilderness, a half-woman, half-snake creature stole his horses. It was like Medusa or something. I think it was Medusa, or... Hercules eventually finds the creature, but she refused to return the horses until he had sex with her. After doing so, he took back his horses, but before leaving, he handed over his belt and bow and gave instructions as to which of their children should found a new nation in Scythia. In the 5th book of the new history ascribed by Photitus to Ptolemy, Hephaestion mentioned that Heracles did not wear the skin of a Nemean lion, but that a certain lion giant killed by Heracles, whom he had challenged to signal combat. Heracles fought and killed Cacus. Heracles fought with the Sicani people, killing many, including the famous Leucippus. Heracles encountered Scylla during a journey to Sicily and slew her. This was described as Sophocles' Trachinae, and in Ovid's Metamorphoses, Book 11, having wrestled and defeated Achelous, god of the Achelous River. Heracles takes Deianeira as his wife. Traveling to Turin, a centaur, Nessus, offers to help Deianeira across a fast-flowing river while Heracles swims it. However, Nessus was true to the archetype of the mischievous centaur and tried to steal Deianeira away while Heracles was still in the water. Angry, Heracles shot him with his arrows, dipped in the poisonous blood of the Lernaean Hydra. Thinking of revenge, Nessus gives Deianeira his blood-soaked tunic before he died, telling her it will excite the love of her husband. Several years later, rumor tells Deianeira that she has a rival of the love of Heracles. Deianeira, remembering Nessus' words, gives Heracles the blood-stained shirt. Lycus, the herald, delivered the shirt to Heracles, however, was still covered in the Hydra's blood from Heracles' arrows, and this poisoned him, tearing his skin and exposing his bones before he died. Heracles threw leeches into the sea, thinking he was the one who poisoned him. According to several versions, leeches turns to stone, becoming a rock standing in the sea, named for him. Heracles then uproots several trees and builds a funeral pyre on a Mount Oeta, which Poeas' father, Philoctetes, lights as his body burned. Only his immortal side it was left. Through Zeus's apotheosis, Heracles rises to Olympus as he died. No one but Heracles' friend Philoctetes would light his funeral pyre. Alternative version, it was Iolaus who lights the pyre. For this action, Philoctetes or Poeas received Hercules' bow and arrows, which were later needed by the Greeks to defeat Troy in the Trojan War. Philoctetes confronted Paris and shot a poisoned arrow at him. The Hydra poison subsequently led to the death of Paris. The Trojan War, however, continued until the Trojan horse was used to defeat Troy. According to Herodotus, Hercules lived 900 years before Herodotus' own time. After his death in the Hercules ascended to Olympus as a god.